First day of fall with a lot of sun and some warmth, which is kind of interesting. Hey, everybody who is just clicking on here and getting ready to watch us. We're going to get started in a couple of minutes here for Tech Chat Tuesday. Today's topic is going to be. Sorry, I don't know if you heard that. That was a massive car drag racing down the street over here. The topic
Go
today
Fab
is
Speed.
seriously, yeah, we have this place Fab Speed near the office. That's what do they do there? They like soup up really expensive cars, right?
Yeah, you want to get an expensive, awesome exhaust for your expensive,
For your
awesome car. Go to
Lamborghini,
Fab
yeah.
Speed.
Yeah, so everyone can hear you and say, please don't buy another one of those things. All right, cool. So we'll get started in just a minute here, everybody. All right, let's see here. Get my notes in the right place. Okay. Just about ready here. I wish I had 3 monitors right now instead of 2. All right, I'm going to start. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Chariot's Tech Chat Tuesday. I always say that really slow because I cannot say that at speed. I'm Ken Rimple, and I have with me today Don Coleman. How you doing, Don?
Hey, not too bad. Thanks for the
Give him.
invite, Ken.
Oh, sure. Give us the lowdown on what you do at Chariot for people who don't know you.
So I'm the Chief Innovation Officer at Chariot. So that means I do a lot of things, mostly looking at new technology, kind of seeing where that can fit, IoT for the past few years, but various other things.
Awesome. And Don and I have been working with each other for 11 years now, I think. And I knew him from another life too. So we've worked on all sorts of different projects. He's done a lot of stuff with iOS in the past, and helped get that whole iOS team started with Steve Smith and the other group of people there. And we've been watching the innovations that Apple's been doing over the years. I brought him on this week because there were a lot of interesting things coming out of the announcements last week. Specifically, Apple had released two new iPads, a new Apple Watch, and then they also released at the same time, literally the night of the event, I got an update for iOS 14, which is a really nice update for iOS and iPad OS, and I think the Watch OS, I think, is updated. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, the watch updated.
Yeah, pretty cool. So it all kind of went live, and so far, so good for me. But I wanted to talk about some of these things. Before we do, real quickly, some other things that are coming up at Chariot. We have an event, a retrospective and futures event called Java at 25. That's coming up on October 21st, 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And this is going to be, we're going to do a kind of a review of what Chariot's been doing with Java for the past 18 years of being in business. That was one of the first technologies we embraced. And it's kind of grown as we've grown as a company. We don't only do Java, but we end up having it in a fair number of our projects. So we're going to talk to Aaron Mulder about what we have been doing. And then we have Brian Getz, the Java architect, language architect from Oracle, to discuss upcoming things and how they're looking forward for the next, I don't know, 25 years. Let him like commit to all of that on that call. But he's going to be talking about that, and then we're going to have a cool happy hour. This is nice. If you register for this event, I think it's $25, but I'm not sure. I'll go to the top and look. We also are going to use Gather for a virtual happy hour, and we're going to use discounts for coffee at La Lacombe. And Workhorse Brewing has vanilla coffee porter. Since we're in the Java world, we figured, Java coffee and then Java coffee beer. So you can get those things and sip along in the happy hour if you're interested, either with coffee or with beer. So that's coming up, and that's I'll post a link here in the chat for that. Let me do that real quick in the comments. So we got that. Also, I would encourage you to visit our blog. We have a lot of good tech information all the time ending up on that blog. DevOps stuff, Java programming, front-end programming, mobile, you name it, databases, AWS. We've had a lot of AWS content over the last year because we've been really kind of ramping up that side of our business even more. So that's a great place to go, chariotsolutions.com/blog. Also, if you go to our YouTube page, it's youtube.com/Chariot Solutions. And you'll see we've got a whole bunch of different things there, including this Tech Chat Tuesday stream. So if you hit playlists, you'll see the Tech Chat Tuesdays. You'll see our series 15 Minutes With, where we talk to different business leaders and tech people and try to get their 15 minutes on a particular topic. We also have all of our Philly Emerging Technologies for the Enterprise Conference content. And Don and I participated in something he was running last year, IoT on AWS, which was a nice overview of running Internet of Things devices using AWS as the data collection mechanism, and things like our single page application stuff. It's all up online. It's all free. We don't make you register. So please take advantage of that if you can. But anyway, let's get to the topic at hand here. So we have a lot of stuff that's been going on here with Apple. I guess let's turn off the screen here and just do chat back and forth. Talk about what we think was important. So why don't we start with like the thing they led in with, which is the Apple Watch. Don, what do you think in terms of the new Apple Watch? Your wife already has one?
Yeah, so she had an Apple Watch 4, and the ocean took it recently, and so we went and got a Apple Watch 6 the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It's iWatch 7, Apple Watch 6. Anyway, it's pretty cool because it has the dissolved oxygen or blood oxygen sensor on it too. It does some
important
cool
right
thing.
Now. Yeah.
And that just replaces basically a $20 thing you can put on your finger, but it does all the time. The biggest thing that I saw is that it responds faster. It has the always on screen, and look at that, right on cue. My neighbor's starting to mow his lawn.
I honestly don't hear it, so you can keep going.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
And then it's like with Siri, it's way faster, which is really cool because I find that Siri is really annoying on my watch. I got an Apple Watch 4, and it's just a crappy experience. It doesn't work half the time, and compared to like Alexa, where Alexa works almost all the time. So
yeah, I noticed that. Like I have an Apple Watch Series 6 I bought because I had a first generation. So you want to talk really slow. Very few things worked on that anymore. So it was time to upgrade a year ago. And in general, like the on screen, always on screen, and the decent battery life. And I got the cellular one just because I wanted to be geeky about it and talk like I was on Dick Tracy. But I can imagine it's even faster. It's a faster chip, I think, this time too, right? I think they upgraded the processor.
Yeah, I think it's faster. So I think it's the hardware is version 6 and the OS is version 7. It's tough to keep all these numbers straight. I keep messing them all up.
Right. Well,
but anyway, I think it's a nice improvement. I think the always on screen is good. I think that the faster response seems to be pretty good. I mostly use it for like working out, for counting laps when swimming, so I don't have to like keep that in my head. That's my favorite feature of it. So
yeah, they have this new Fitness Plus that came out, not to hawk a service, but now apparently it's really keyed on the watch, right? So you can run the Fitness Plus service is kind of like a Peloton, but for all sorts of different types of workouts. And it's only like $9.95.
If I could just pay the money and not do anything, get in shape, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I know that's the problem. Like I'll sign up for it and then I'll use it twice, like the gym. But anyway, so it seems like that they're really taking the Internet of Things perspective. That's their sensor array is the watch, right? That's the main in for them, for people getting hooked on it. And then the cheaper watch too. So cheaper relatively. It's $279 or $289 or something like that. So
something like that, yeah. So like you're right. If you don't need all the fancy sensors, I think it's probably equivalent to the watch I'm wearing. So that's pretty cool. They also got a thing where if you want to get a watch for your kids, they don't actually have to have a phone. You can hook it to your phone and then control that. So that was pretty neat. As an Apple shareholder, I love to see ways that they can sell more stuff. So that's always good.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So, all right. So the watch is one interesting thing, and obviously the tie-in with the workouts. But there were 2 new iPads as well. And I'll talk about iOS 14 in a minute, but let's kind of get through those. So the first one was the iPad 8th generation. And I titled this in my notes, For Duck Kids with a Z, because it really is like if your kids already have an old one, this is a nice little refresh.
Yeah, I think so. Like a friend of mine, he sent me a text. He's like, my kids are complaining their Chromebooks are too slow for school. I want to get them iPads. And it was like, well, I think you just get the iPad 8. Maybe upgrade the memory. So the interesting thing there is like, you look at that and they got the newer processor, which is pretty cool.
The A12 chip. Yeah.
And then, so the I have an old iPad Pro. I had to look it up. I don't hang on, get this in camera. I don't know what version this actually is, but I looked it up. It's got like the A9X chip, and
Mm-hmm.
it's plenty fast for what I do. I really want to like the iPad a lot more than I do.
Yeah,
But just the nature of the work that I do, I use keyboards a lot.
me too.
I do
Yeah.
have the Apple Pencil, and this is the first generation pencil, so it works with this. This version of the pencil works with the new just regular basic iPad. Um, so yeah, so this is pretty cool when I don't lose it.
Yes, exactly.
And when we talk about iOS 14, but anyway, so I think the iPad could be good, especially if you can get away without using a keyboard. The problem is the keyboard's like $160. The
Yeah,
pencil's another $100. So by the time you're doing that, I'd
500 bucks.
personally rather have a laptop, but
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
If you're a developer, it's really hard to say. I mean, I've tried a few times taking the iPad, with me and trying to use it as a serious device. It doesn't. For a software engineer, it's hard. I need a terminal. I need shortcuts. I need curses support in the terminal. I need an escape key.
Right. For a meeting with Microsoft OneNote and the pencil, it works pretty good.
It's
I can take some
perfect.
notes. Can hardly read my handwriting, but
Yeah, I know. I was trying out the handwriting. So there's a new thing in iOS 14. I might as well just bring it out. It's the scribble feature where you can kind of write all over the iPad and input boxes and stuff, and it tries to translate. And I still have terrible handwriting. That didn't help, but it did better than I thought it would. It was like a 70% versus like 10% in prior software.
Yeah, just before this call, I was like, so I upgraded my iPad to iOS 14 just in the nick of time. And it had me do a little tutorial, and you could write, insert, and do all, and it could actually recognize my handwriting, which was pretty cool. So I think that has some potential, and I need to learn how to use that with some of the newer apps.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, the biggest things that I heard that I thought were interesting is it looks like there's a neural engine upgrade. So for neural net processing, like doing it on the pad instead of sending it up to the cloud and sharing it, it seems like even the base iPad has some processing power there.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the things with the newer hardware. You're getting some of those processing chips, so you can run Core ML. Yeah, Core ML is what they call it, and basically put your trained model onto the device so that they're really pushing that privacy angle. They're also doing that with some of their newer APIs. I don't know if when I upgraded my phone, all these devices wanted like local network permission. They wanted continuing with like iOS 13 had a lot of location with core location Bluetooth permissions.
Right.
So I'm able to really lock down what apps can do. There's that new one that's like allow Facebook to spy on you across apps or something like that.
Yeah. No.
I personally don't use Facebook, so I haven't seen that, but
right.
I definitely had that in there. So I think that the lip service they're paying to privacy is good. I know some people are complaining about some of the things, especially, but they're moving in the right direction.
The other thing is, if you somehow happen to be someone who actually got one of these one of these where is it? There we go. Everything's backwards. One of these smart keyboards, and you were upgrading and you had one laying around, your kid could use it now because it looks like it's got the keyboard connector on it, which is kind of nice.
Okay.
So, I mean, I've been happy with this thing, but I
would imagine that the new iPad 8 is probably just like this old iPad Pro I have with a better chip in it. It's like slightly older tech, but it's good.
Right. So anyway, so that's $329 for the base 64. I mean, I'm sure you don't want the 64 gig one unless
it's 32 gigs. So
it's 32.
I think they draw you in with a $329 price, and then
it's
you
be
add your keyboard and all that, and
you
check out, and it's $850
as per
plus
usual.
Apple Care.
All right, so then let's move on to the iPad Air. The iPad Air seems to be the big story here. So interesting, they put their new chip A14 Bionic in that before the Pro.
Right, that was what confused me. I'm like,
yeah.
iPad Air. Well, one, why do we need the Air name? But whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, this is middle of the road. But then you look at it, and it's got the numbers too higher than the iPad Pro processor. What is it? A12Z versus A14Q.
Yeah.
Knows whatever.
It goes to 11. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So
right.
I don't know exactly what the differences between the Pro and the Air are, other than the Pro just seems like something to keep the price really high. And I look at the Air and say, oh, this is a good deal now.
Yeah.
It looks wicked cool. The screen looks nice.
Yeah, it's that bonded screen with no air
Right.
between it and
Like
the
I don't
LCD.
need one, but I really want one.
I know
So
that's the problem. They know how to do that to us. But again, it's not a true operating system of programmers, but it's really good for if you're going to be taking something on the road and doing some light, work. I mean, it's got a lot of processing power. They claim it's faster than blah. Who cares? I'm
oh
not
yeah,
going to,
no, I agree. It's faster than many laptops. It's got
yeah,
that funky keyboard that probably costs about, I don't
a
know,
billion
a lot.
dollars. It's like
But
almost $300, by the way,
so right, so if you get that keyboard, and
with a trackpad.
it supports the newer Apple Pencil, and
Right.
so I would imagine for a lot of people they could probably use it as a laptop replacement,
Yep.
and then detach
Journalists
that.
or writers or artists or whatever, it's perfect for like not having to worry about an operating
Yeah,
system.
Jira and crap like that.
Jira. If you're a project manager, you won't need to go
Yeah.
onto a command line anytime soon. But what made me amazed is, and again, this is me being, the rube being amazed, but they were talking about a 5 nanometer process. Seems like they're like right at the edge of Moore's law at this point, where it's like so compact. But are there other things manufacturing right now at 5 nanometers that are in the
Yeah,
market?
wasn't the new NVIDIA chips and stuff, weren't they maybe 5 or 7 nanometer
Yeah,
process or on the
they claim was 7 before for their stuff for Apple, and then they moved down to 5. Just seems like we're really getting to the point where at some point we're going to level off. Every time I say that, we don't. So
yeah, hey,
it's
more
kind of amazing.
transistors. It's cool.
And more chips, really. I mean, if you think about it, we've got more processing chips. We've got
Right.
the machine learning chip, and apparently that's even more beefy on this one. So they claim they've got a 40% CPU improvement performance over the last iPad Air. A new GPU with what's that? They've got low power, high performance cores, 30% faster, 2 times faster than a laptop, et cetera. So in terms of beefiness, it's great. I just want a terminal.
Yeah, so you don't
Give me an
get,
operating system.
but I mean, the cool thing with the new chips is you get all these transistors and stuff. You don't get the big speed bumps we used to get like back in the day when you could double
Right.
your processor speed, but you get, more processors, more cores, high speed, low speed, and really power efficiency, I think, is really where it matters. Like even this old iPad for most stuff is fast enough, and
Yeah.
it's really battery life is, I think, where it comes down to it.
Right,
Um,
exactly. This seems like low power cores are the big thing, and I'm sure they have those on the other ones too. But apparently, it's a 6 core CPU in the A14 Bionic.
I suppose, and I guess the other thing too is with the new GPUs in there, you're going to get for all the AR stuff people are talking about. That when you need that GPU stuff, you're going to get that.
Yep. USB-C finally for the iPad Air. We
Oh
got
yeah,
around to
that's
that.
nice.
That is a nice deal. Looks like the rear camera's better. There's a 4K video with
Are
image
you that guy that
stabilization.
takes pictures with your iPad?
No, I was for the very first
Smile,
iPad for about a
Rimple.
week. And you know what's funny? I took the pictures. I'm like, damn, these are horrible pictures. But this is an old iPad. No, I actually use my iPhone for a lot of pictures, and I get really good results.
Nice.
I used to be that bring lenses with me nerd. Yeah, but I think maybe if you're using for like getting documents scanned and things like that, looks like it's a little bit better from that perspective. I did comb through things, and I noticed that it looks like compared to the Pro has LiDAR. And this
okay, yeah.
doesn't. So for AR kit stuff or augmented reality, for like true accurate measurement, I think that's where you'd go with the Pro for that. It's an interesting choice of what they left out. Is that an expensive part?
The LiDAR thing,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, it's basically like a Microsoft Connect. Remember those, like built
Yeah.
into the. But I guess that's what the. Well, if you had something more modern than that iPhone, but the new iPhones have a lot of that stuff with that. But they also are, $1,000 phones. So
Yeah, exactly. And the Pro gives you the better desktop size. So if you wanted a large, I found like with the Surface Pro, for example, in the Surface Book, a giant tablet is not that useful to me because you hold this giant slab and then I'm like, well, I really want this to fold out and I want a keyboard.
Right.
Like give me I don't want to hold a really heavy thing to watch a movie. It's just not.
So in our separate conversation, we can talk about the Microsoft Duo and fold it in half, and it'll be nice with the folding iPad.
Yeah, right. You could really use something like that. Yeah.
So
go ahead.
that's hardware that we know a little bit about and not that much. People are going to comment in about what we screwed up on the hardware, but we could talk about the software, huh?
Yeah, let's talk about the iPad OS 14 and iOS 14. So you've just been spending a little bit of time with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, so I think that one of the things that it's actually in iOS 13 mostly, but iOS 14 is with the Swift UI for building UIs.
Mm,
That came out with iOS 13, but the biggest problem was if you used it, you couldn't be iOS 12 compatible. And when we were writing apps, we're really trying to support 2 versions back. So now
hmm
with iOS 14 coming out, improvements to Swift UI, we'll be able to build UIs with the newer technology and still support, iOS 13 and iOS 14. So I think that will be something we can do more, especially with more of these devices and more sizes. It's getting closer to Android, whereas before, we had just one perspective
right.
on iOS. It was easy to do that. Now with Swift UI, it lets us do a little bit more of that.
So they have kind of the re-layout, retargeted kind of graphics,
Yeah,
that
you're
kind of thing.
building things with code rather than using that. Try not to swear. Interface builder thing that you were
Yeah.
using, and I could never get that thing to work. And right click on the thing, and so anyway, that's a welcome addition.
hmm In terms of the operating system usability, it seems like they've really gotten to the point where things that shouldn't interrupt you don't. So, for example, I've been using this since August when the betas came out because I'm a glutton for punishment. And whenever a call comes in, it's just a little tiny notification at the top that you can flick away and deal with later. It doesn't take over your screen. If you ask Siri for a question, a little tiny Siri icon shows up and it doesn't take over your screen. So there's just a lot of good, to me, good usability features in iOS 14. And on the iPad OS, we're talking about the more ways of handling input from the pencil look really good too. I did find something a little weird to work with. So for example, like if you wanted to split a word, we're talking on the website, like you can go ahead and
You
as you're
draw the
writing,
line.
yeah, you draw a line. It kind of sometimes works, but see, it depends on someone having like a credible ability to spell their own name and write without typing on a keyboard. And I guess I'm out for that, right?
Yeah.
But there just seems like it's all around usability enhancements. There's a whole bunch of hidden things. If you look at the accessibility shortcuts, there's like a double back tap and a triple back tap on the phone. Have you heard of this? It's literally in there, so you can double back tap, and there's a whole bunch of things you can do. Like you can have it like paste clipboard contents, or you can have it turn on or off Wi-Fi, weird stuff like that. So now there's another weird gesture I can use to do stuff. But on the
Nice.
keyboard, there's a bunch of mappings now in iOS 14 that you can trigger and configure. So maybe if you're always in a particular application and it has certain shortcuts you can hit, now you could get some keyboard shortcuts for it, which would be good. You
Okay.
know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the pencil integration, like you were talking about. There's definitely the OS level stuff where some things work with the different apps, but
Yeah.
Pencil Kit was one of the things they called out in iOS 14, where they have a whole API, I think, so you can build a lot more of this stuff in your apps. I haven't seen many apps using it yet, but haven't really looked that hard.
So,
Um,
in your kind of innovation world, right, where you're looking at the things that are coming out in the future and what we can take advantage of at our company, we're seeing what the iPad is coming out with. Is anything else in terms of hardware, like the Samsung tablets or whatever else, are they getting close to this kind of level of integration and
I
feature
don't,
set?
I don't think so. I mean, the only real hardware that caught my eye recently was the Microsoft Duo, the
Mm-hmm.
foldable phone tablet thing, which looked pretty cool. I mean, we've done some projects using the Surface for business apps, where Salesforces have them and rolling out apps. And that works really well, except for I think that many of the sales reps would prefer an iPad instead. So it's an
Yeah,
interesting area there. The IT guys like the Microsoft and the sales reps want iOS, but whatever.
I'm trying to find someone actually branded. Now I can't find it. Someone actually branded their Surface Duo with Windows 95 icons. So he had like all this stupid stuff. I'm like, are you on Lycos on that? What's going on? I thought that was
The
pretty hilarious.
the the other thing, which I know that iOS 14 was really pushing and hyping, was to have widgets, so you could make
Yes.
your
hmm
phone. I guess it works on the iPad too, more like
It does.
Android, where you could just drop a widget in there and have your home screen like you like it. Um, and I found that works for varying levels of success. I think that the biggest problem now is that a lot of the apps I use don't have all of the widgets that I need yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So hopefully, as more apps get updated, I can put more useful widgets on my home screen other than just, phone and weather and battery and crap like that.
Right. Because there is some sort of like widget.
Widget kit.
There's a new. Yeah. There's now it's this new category of application. If you go search in applications, you're going to find a bunch of like quickly put together widget collections. I'm like, oh no, here we go. This is the Android
Okay.
all over again. So you can actually get like third party widgets that you can install. I haven't played. I downloaded one, but I didn't play with it yet. And then a lot of apps are starting to release themselves with widget support. So it will take some time. I was never really a giant widget user on OS 10. I would put them together once in a while and go, that's cool. And then most of the day, I would never even look at them. In fact, most days, I would never look at them. But it's a neat idea. The fact you can have them on the Springboard itself is kind of nice. By the way, you can only have them on the Springboard in landscape mode on the iPad. So, like,
Okay.
if you're in landscape mode, you can kind of have it take over the first third on the left. And there's a quick launcher, so that's kind of nice. That's one of the things they did in iOS 10. You can have a quick launcher of your most commonly used apps. Then you can have an app gallery, which also collects your apps by category, and you can turn off all the other ones if you wanted to. So you kind of get this simple, clean desktop interface, so to speak, for your Springboard that doesn't look crazily cluttered, which is kind of
Okay.
nice. They don't have the app gallery on the iPad OS though. They just have the widgets. So just nice little things that they're doing. There's a lot of hidden secrets, and little features in iOS 14 that seem to be around tweaking it a little bit more. So seems like the
Yeah, I
engineers
mean,
are doing a little more.
I think that's the big thing is always finding like when someone shows you like the trick, like for editing text where you can like long press on the keyboard and drag around. Like before I knew that, it was like, always hating editing text. And then someone shows you, it's like, oh, magic. And I'm sure there's tons more things like that, which if, you read the right thing, we could find it. But
Yeah. Oh, I found this thing. All right, hold on. This is great. Let me share my screen again because this is hilarious. Uh, I don't know if I'm sharing it. No, I'm not sharing it now. Here we go. This is worth the wait. There you go. You got your. My phone is ridiculously aesthetic now. I just love that. There you go. There's your fold-out phone. We've got icons for shortcuts as the registry icon. I particularly like that. And
nice.
then the Windows 95 error. Do you wish to continue existing? Exit. So if that's really true, that's hilarious. Really appreciate that humor. Awesome. All right, yeah. So I guess that's the major thing. There's beyond that, it's mostly consumer stuff on top of that. Like there's the all-you-can-eat plan that they have, and I don't want to spend much time on that stuff.
Right. They get a lot of services and things like that, which,
Yeah,
they're probably going to be Sherlocking some people with those. But
yeah.
as far as the development of apps, I think that the new permissions are going to be one of the things that'll be a little bit of a pain to get those
Hmm.
in there. But as a user of these apps, I really appreciate those. So it's worth going through that pain to have better privacy and better control over what those apps are accessing.
And the ML kit and AR kit applications and things like that seem like they'll be maybe something that'll come up that we get
Yeah,
involved
I
in.
want to really like AR. I
Hmm.
know they talk about a lot of it. I haven't seen any useful AR stuff in day to day. I would
A
love
lot of
to.
toys. Yeah.
There's the best thing I think is one of those where they show you hold up the iPad and you look at like an instrument, a panel in a factory, and it kind of provides some help on, hey, this does this and these do those other things, kind of like a training app. And that'd be
Right.
pretty cool. Better if you had some sort of like Apple glasses or something like that,
Hmm.
brain implant. I don't know.
Who said you
So
don't have a
I
brain
think that
implant?
stuff has a lot of potential. I want it to
Right.
work, but no one's paying for it today. So
Right. Right. Okay, cool. Well, that's it. I just wanted to kind of check in with you to see what was going on and get your opinion on some of this stuff. And, you know, anything you want to plug? Anything you're doing these days?
no,
Getting it done?
I'm down in the weeds on some projects right now. So nothing,
Gotcha.
nothing
Cool.
too exciting to talk about otherwise.
All right, cool. Well, Don Coleman, thank you very much for joining me today on Tech Chat Tuesday.
Thanks, Ken.
All right, see you, man.